Hello, Dr. Venus.
Hello, Dr. Jackson.
All right. I am glad to speak with you today. I hope you had a good week.
Yes, yes.
All right. Good. Yeah. No school, so that's kind of cool.
No school.
Um, all right. So this week we are going to talk about Moneyball. And as always, we are marching through. This is episode 18 of our 21 episodes of books that can change your life. Thank you, Daniel Pink, for the
Yes,
suggestion. So we are going through, and we have just a few left, and I'm so excited and
me too.
to
Yeah,
to learn. So many of these books I wouldn't have grabbed on my own. So
absolutely. And this
uh,
is one of them. I would
yeah.
have never chosen it by myself.
Right, right. And well, we'll get to our notes here in a minute, but let's get right into it. Okay, so here is the book Moneyball by Michael Lewis.
Michael Lewis.
And
Yes.
uh, let's hear what Daniel Pink thought about the book.
Okay, yeah. So Daniel Pink is talking about the movie first. This book, the content of this book was made a movie with Brad Pitt, and it shows. I wouldn't call them misfits, but I would call them the underdog players. Players that
Hmm.
were not deemed that talented. Made it to the finals as serious contenders in the baseball world, which is unusual. And
Hmm.
what Daniel Pink learned from this is think differently, challenge the world of our industry or world, and ask yourself what if everyone else is wrong. And
Mm.
no better conclusion that he drew out of this book than this one. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was floored more by the end of the book than as I went along reading it. So, but to me, what was interesting about the book, I think that this book. I wish everyone would read it, whether you're a baseball fan or not a baseball fan. But I think
Hmm.
it's even more valuable to someone who is not that involved in baseball, because I think we are able to read it with less prejudice, with less uh, don't disturb my turf.
Right,
You're
right.
more open minded reading this when you're not a baseball fan or involved in the baseball industry, which was an eye opener to me to read the way that
Hmm.
goes in in
Yeah.
in that sport. So that's what I got out of it, and I'm grateful for reading this book. Uh,
Hmm.
so it
Yeah, I agree with you that if you're not a baseball fan, this would be a good book to read.
I
Um,
think so
there
too.
there are times when there's a lot of information and back and forth that I'm sure that went way over my head.
Same here.
But uh,
Yeah.
but what I did get, I could stand back and I could look at some of the what I liked about it is the writing, is Michael
Yeah.
Lewis's writing, his
Absolutely. Yeah.
storytelling, and
Absolutely.
I have a couple quotes that I want to share that kind of exemplify that to me,
Yeah.
and and also as an educator, and I know that this book influenced the way people looked at data,
Yes.
and so when people go to data-driven communication and decision making, that's exactly what I thought about is when we would start to look at, well, what does the data say? you know,
Yeah. Well,
where are these
yeah.
students missing something? And so we looked at the time spent in the classroom and the time spent walking from class to class, and we um, so there were so many things we looked at. When you look at, if you're not so emotionally invested in it,
Mhm.
you can stand back and look at what the numbers say.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I totally agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I thought was fantastic. And if you can get past all the rule jargon that I didn't understand, had no clue what he was talking about,
Yeah, yeah.
eating this and score this, I had no clue what it all meant. But once I
Mhm.
got past that, to get really the gist of the book, it was
Yeah,
just amazing.
yeah. And you know what? One thing we've been doing with these books is we've been sticking with them.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yes.
if I were on my own, I would have abandoned this one and gone on to something I'm
Yeah.
much more
Yeah.
comfortable about. And but here we have to read and dig and find something to talk about on the podcast, and
Yes.
then all of a sudden it just opens up,
Yeah,
and
it does. And this is one book. I mean, I could just go on and on and on.
oh, that's
And
awesome.
so,
Because when we first started talking about it at the beginning of
yeah,
the week, we did not have such strong
no,
emotional attachment.
yeah, no. It was difficult in the beginning to get through all this
Yeah,
baseball jargon
yeah.
if you're not familiar with it and say, "Oh my God, I have no clue what I'm reading.
Hmm. Hmm.
I have no clue why I'm reading this." And so
Then there must be something here for me, and then there it is.
and there it is. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to your next slide.
So, what I thought that this book, more than any other book, is connecting the themes of everything we read so far
Hmm.
um, very nicely, drawing parallels and getting the same findings. And mainly, the other books we read where people just look at, especially with athletes, look at their physical makeup and say, oh, he got everything or she got everything that a sprinter needs, everything that a football player needs. And
Hmm.
um, it, but in so many cases, what we've read so far, talent is just a small piece of it, and that does not even, I mean, it is so small, it doesn't really matter. You can, if you put the environment,
Hmm.
are you being supported by your environment, by mentors, by friends, by,
Hmm.
that's one big thing. And then your mindset, above all, what is your
Right.
mindset? It parallels to grit. I won't
Mhm.
give up. It parallels to everything. You
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
from your mistakes. You don't just say, oh, I'm just not talented, I give up and forget it. You learn from your mistakes and then you
Hmm.
improve. And that's what all these players that weren't considered physically fit for baseball because they were either
Yeah.
too slow, one of
Yeah.
them with two club feet, and but they watched their replay of what they did and they learned
Hmm.
their mistakes. They watched their opponents and they
Hmm.
found their weaknesses, what he called their hole,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
found that and they beat him with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly. So they turned their weakness into an
into
unexpected strength.
yes,
So not
exactly.
only did they
So
not expect it, but their opponent did not expect it.
exactly, and that's just overcome
Hmm.
and defeat. So
Yeah.
overcome and win. So to me, that was just an excellent lesson in this book.
Yes. I liked that.
And then, of course, the heroes in this book, amongst the many, many what they called misfits that
Hmm.
really translated what they learned on the field, their weaknesses into strengths. But here, this guy Billy Bean, really a failure on the field. He gave up. He did just that. He had no grit. He gave up, and his makeup, his mindset, destroyed him on the baseball field. And then he just
Hmm.
said, "I can't do this,"
Yeah.
because he got so angry when he
Yeah.
lost. He couldn't
When he
deal with
was not perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah. He wanted
expected perfection of himself and he didn't.
Yes, and
He,
he was deemed by the scouts as, the perfect body, the perfect,
hmm.
the talented guy, and that's what he expected out of himself, and
Yeah.
he didn't produce it, and then
Hmm.
he basically destroyed himself on the
Hmm.
baseball field and gave up. But then what I admire about him, he comes back, he becomes the manager of
Hmm.
the Oakland A's,
Hmm.
and he does exactly what he should have done as a player. He finds
Mm.
this guy, Billy James, with his statistical approach, a computer nerd, and this
Hmm.
Paul de Podestra, likewise. And together with them, he listened to them, and
Yeah.
he saw the beauty of the statistical approach, and he translated that into a win situation for this team of underrated players and got them to buy into it.
Yeah.
So he never lost his personality, which would have
Mm-mm.
been better if he did, you know. But he was driven to translate what he learned out of their writing and out of their approach to success. And that's
Yeah.
what I admire in him. He didn't just say, "Well, now I'm going to go out and I'm going to find the best players and we're going to, do
Yeah.
this, that." He found a new approach and it worked.
Yeah. And I like that he looked at some of uh, the methods that the
Yes,
scouts use. He came back as a scout from
yes,
leaving the playing field, and I thought that was so interesting how the the people thought that was backwards, that
yeah,
mostly the scouts were the ones that wanted to be the players, and but he left the playing part and went into scouting, and he looked at the methods that were used before. For example, and this really hit home to me, is the errors. When a player committed, they kept track of the errors, and
yeah,
so the way that he put that Michael Lewis put it in the book was that they were punished for trying something. You know,
yeah,
they ran across the field and they missed a ball or something like that. So that would show up as an error, instead of just standing 30 yards away and not even trying. Then
yeah,
you wouldn't get the error. You wouldn't get the negative mark against your name or your game or
yeah,
whatever. So I thought, wow, that's true. That's was at the time, that was over 100 years since that rule had been made,
yeah,
and they were still using that as a metric to judge the new players.
yeah,
And that so the way that the weight of that kind of data point was reduced because it didn't really make sense, and it
exactly.
penalized people from trying to do something. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And what
that.
I found really sad is the way the book was received by the
Mm,
baseball community. That at the end when he talked about how they would not even read the book, refused to
yeah.
read the book. The closed mindedness to me was
Yeah.
just. Um, I was just in awe of that. How can you, when the success of this team, it was in front of you.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
he tried something new and it didn't work. They tried something new and it worked, and they proved
Mhm.
it time and time and time again, and you still refuse to believe it. You still refuse to
Yeah.
try it. Not only that, the bad mouthing, the
Yeah.
the slandering, and I mean that was, I found that really sad and really
Yeah.
kind of a sad statement to the old establishment for
Hmm.
not recognizing that, which could have been a win-win situation for all of them, and
Yeah.
could have provided the entire sport a more interesting game. You know,
Hmm.
if more
Yeah.
of get bought into that, and now we're even the playing field. So now everybody's using that, or most of
Yeah.
them using that. So now let's see who interprets their data the best and makes the
Hmm.
best of their data.
Right. And makes better decisions
Yeah,
and not honoring just tradition. I mean,
yeah, that's
going back
really,
to education, the just because we've done it that way for 40 years
yeah.
does not mean it's the best way to do things.
And I do fall into that trap
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of times too.
me
Well,
too.
I've always done it like that,
Yeah,
50 years ago. Yeah, it doesn't apply today anymore. So you gotta go with
yeah,
the flow of the time.
right. And then value what works from the past
Yes,
and then apply
and then
that
that.
to the new things that are
Yeah,
coming out now.
yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. All right. Anything else you want to add before I move on?
No, no.
Okay. All right. So my discussion point, the best part of this book for me was learning about the story,
Yeah,
his story, his growing up, his
yeah,
personality. That was so interesting to me. And as a young man, he seemed to have everything
yeah,
he needed for baseball: physical ability, supportive family, opportunity to show his skills, brains. He was really smart. People liked him. But what I think what stood out to me was his perfectionism stood out as, and it ruined the opportunities that he did have
yeah,
because he didn't know what to do
yeah.
when he
But
did not get a home run or whatever.
yeah, yeah. So, but the interesting part of that is that he didn't dwell on it. There was not one word in the book that
No, but he would bust up bats and hit things
yeah,
and
but he did not, he did not regret having quit as a player.
oh, right,
Yeah,
right.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Ultimately he
He's
figured it out that yeah,
self-destructed. Yeah, you're right. He's self-destructed. He bent the bat 90 degrees and then
yeah,
wanted to
oh my
play with
gosh.
it like McEnroe.
Yes, exactly. You wonder if they didn't derail themselves, they
Yeah,
were already great, but they could have been even greater. So for me, that's what kind of hooked me. So when they say when you're writing a book, you have to hook the person right in the first page. Well, it
yeah,
took me a little bit, but once I saw him
yeah,
as
yeah,
a man, as
yeah,
a baseball player, I was hooked there too.
yeah,
Um, let's see. Uh, oh, and then also when uh, the baseball books that caught his attention were not prose and wonderful, beautiful words. They weren't written smoothly, but it was the Bill James book that brought the numbers and kind of turned that into language. So language, not
yeah,
numbers, is what interested him.
yeah.
Words and the meaning they were designed to convey. And when
Mhm.
the numbers acquire the significance of language, he later wrote, they acquire the power to do all the things which language can do, to become fiction and drama and poetry. And this I thought was it was a beautiful part. And it's not just baseball that these numbers through a fractured mirror describe its character. So the numbers show the the actual attitudes and things of the others. And I just thought that was pretty profound
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
And
It-
so go ahead.
I just thought. Do you hear that? This is
Yeah.
terrible. Yeah, let me.
Whoopsie. But I want to talk about data stories, and the numbers describe movement, reasons, correlations, causations, and connections. And so now we talk about your looking at data stories, and we talk about how they you can see the correlations and the causations, and so the data can actually connect you to the actual story of what's going on behind the numbers. And for me, that was really cool.
It was, and to me, I credit him so much for recognizing that, for not for valuing that, and because um, the guys that he worked with, they weren't really baseball players; they were just computer nerds, and
Yeah,
it's been easy for him to just say, "What do you know about baseball?" You know,
exactly.
leave this alone. But he valued that, and made the connection between the words, the numbers, and his
Yeah,
players, the weaknesses of his players. So that to me was so valuable.
yeah, exactly. And it was a different way of looking at knowledge,
Yes,
and that was really pretty awesome.
yeah,
So the connection that I saw at the very beginning was the sports
yeah,
gene, as you mentioned before,
absolutely, yeah,
right? David Epstein, and it described him as the s- perfect baseball specimen, but he didn't have it all together in his head. And that's what his downfall was, at least in the playing part. But he used that energy and that excitement for baseball, the love of baseball, to look to still try to understand it and to look for the valuable parts of it. And I also made a connection to Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. And I think that would have been a good reference if he read books and if it were written at the time. I think
yeah,
that would have, for the non-emotional decision making, things that he
yeah.
can look at, kind of stand back and not get all emotional because he missed the ball or something like that, or didn't make a home run when he wanted to, or did a
Yeah,
mistake or
I
something.
found connections to those, of course, and then, but also he impersonified him and his crew, personified the word grit.
Yes.
Because the world around them did not buy into his theory,
Right.
and into what they were doing, and they just marched ahead and said, "Who cares? We're marching
Yeah.
ahead. We do. We show you." And they did, time and time again. And even that didn't help, and they still marched on. So he had only one slide at the end where he wanted to stop, um, sell himself to another team. Um,
Hmm.
where he was going to give up, but then he didn't, and I'm glad he didn't. So um,
Yeah.
so I think that was just phenomenal, and it had
Hmm.
parallels to the fixed mindset, the open mindset. That he
Yeah.
the establishment was a fixed mindset, and he had the open mindset. So um,
Yeah.
it was in the your thinking, yeah, it just your mindset, every
Yeah.
it just connected everything for me.
That was really brave. I mean, to come up with something like this, because baseball was steeped in tradition,
Yeah,
and at that time it was, we'd done this for over 100 years,
yeah,
and this is the way we scout people. And we go out there and we watch them run, we watch them hit, and so they're going to be a good baseball player. But the data might say somebody else can get on base
how
and
we
has
can
and
do
score
that.
every time. Uh, but it doesn't make any difference because they're just looking at that one day, one point in time when they're on the field.
Yeah,
So that was pretty cool.
yeah, that's what I thought so too. So it
Yeah,
was just excellent reading.
absolutely. Okay, so next week Oh, did you want to add a little summary or anything before we?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Next week we decided, and now I've forgotten.
It
Uh,
was unconventional. Let's see. I have to look. It was The Righteous Mind by
oh,
Jonathan Haidt.
okay. So the Righteous Mind we're going to read this week, and then next week, same time, same channel, we are going to talk about the Righteous Mind. So this we just have 3 books left,
Mhm.
and then we'll have finished all of Dan Pink's books that changed his life. So then we'll have our extravaganza summary episode, and I think it'll be really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
me too.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Venus, and have a great week.
You
And for
too.
all of you watching, we'd appreciate a subscription or a like or a share or something. And we
Hopefully, it's
will,
inspired you all to read the book.
yes, hopefully,
Some of
yes, do read it. Yeah. And don't just watch. You can, okay, we're allowing you to watch the movie, but the movie is as always is never as good as the book.
yeah,
It can't be, because your brain makes all those connections.
yeah.
So, I hope you enjoy it and look forward to seeing you next week and talk to y'all later.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.